Okay. Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know us, we are Emily and Cassie. We're the duo behind the Book Bits Club. And we are so excited to be hosting Becky Jane Fox's live event for her debut novel, Veins of Power, which everyone here has read. And I think that we all are obsessed with. And it's book one of the Fifth Realm saga.
And this book is already getting a lot of this is the next fourth wing. It already has 4.48 stars on Goodreads. And in my opinion, it's doing everything we love about romantasy. So we're doing the magic, the dragons, the spicy scenes, and a lot of emotional trauma along the way. So, Becky, let's get this started. Do you have anything to say?
Oh my God, thank you guys for showing up. Thanks for doing this. I'm so excited. Cassie and Emily have a lot of you guys also joining and have been here from the very start. So it's been such a cool journey and just thank you.
Yeah, we have one very important question to start, and Cassie actually is the one that highlighted this, so I have to let her deliver it.
All right. Becky, the most important question that we will have you answer today. Why a duck? Where did the duck come from? Can you confirm if the duck is in fact the key to all of the things? Emily actually started to believe that there was like a placebo power coming from the so
I'm really convincing myself that now the duck is placebo and it's not even doing anything, so we need you to calm our nerves.
I love it. I don't know. I was just I got to the scene. I was like, oh, wait, Lyra's going to explode. Like, she needs something. And I just wanted that juxtaposition of just things have been a bit serious. And I was like, I just want something that's just this is stupid. Like, when she sees it. So, I don't know if it was, cognitive I'd seen something, but yeah, I just thought, yeah. And then, what was incredible, one of the best things about writing the book with everyone who was reading along is that suddenly this duck started to get a bit of attention, and the duck didn't really have much of a leading role. It was just this thing, and to be honest, it was almost probably just gonna sort of disappear at some point, and I hadn't really thought about it much, and then seeing that people were, loving I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." So then the duck was like, "Okay, this is really important. I'm keeping the duck." And now the duck has a really important role in book 2.
great. That was actually going to be a follow-up question. So we love to hear about.
Yeah. So I can say it's not placebo. It is, Finn has put his threads in there. So yeah.
Well, okay. Thank you for confirming. We really needed to know. Honestly, the duck kind of became my emotional support animal towards the end when things were like really starting to pop off. So I appreciated that it made it all the way through.
Speaking of characters, though, that are very important to us readers, Becky, who was your favorite character to write?
Oh, it's such a hard I mean, Talon's gotta just be, the funnest, especially when I got Stu's POV at the end. I was dying for that, and it's when I wrote the Bren's house scene initially, and my friend who was reading along, very from the beginning, she wanted the Talon POV, and I told her, "Oh, it's gonna be Bren's house is gonna be the Talon POV." And she was just like, "Oh, I don't think it's gonna be that great or something." And I was like, "No, I had this idea in my head of just, seeing that really, jealous Talon, is so fun to write." And also because he puts on such a facade because he's got a
Mm,
mask, so that's really fun
yeah.
to get that, he's not that same person that he's presenting to be. Yeah. Who else? Really fun to write, I think. Oh, man, it's a hard one. I don't know, yeah. I think
Sure.
Was there anybody that you wrote that you wanted the audience to hate and you were like, "Oh my gosh, I actually really hate them as well?"
yeah,
Because you did such a good job.
Strand, obviously, Weasel Jr., he was pitted at "Okay, we want people to hate him," but, people were messaging me "The fucking weasel," I was like, "Wow, okay," and so I didn't know and actually, to be honest, he'll probably be really fun because I didn't know what to necessarily do with him or where his arc would go, and I was like, "Wow, people, really hate him," and that's always a good thing because if you have emotion, whether you love or hate, and so I was just like, "Great, okay," so I got some plans for Weasel Jr. now, so I'm excited.
Oh, he was a villain that was just so easy to love to hate. So I loved that. Speaking of, I feel like early on, well, earliest on in the prologue voice itself sparked a lot of conversation. Can you tell us a little bit more about who was speaking to Lyra and why that voice actually needed to open the series?
I'm curious. I don't know if you guys wanna put in the chat, who do people think it is? Because
Oh,
it was really curious, who people were saying it was, so I don't wanna, and I also don't wanna give away spoilers that will ruin things for people, but I reckon people could probably guess. I mean, who do you guys think?
ooh, I oh. I was just gonna say, I feel like it might be a potential dragon that our friend Lyra could potentially be bonding potentially at some point, but who knows? But that was my thought after I finished. At the beginning, I had no idea, of course.
Okay, so the biggest clue is, like, thinking about, like, the villain who's being set up for the series.
The villain who's being set up for the series.
Like, who is the villain of the series, I guess.
Right?
I don't know, sorry, I'm even at that.
Okay. Will we find out more in book 2 though?
Yeah.
Like, will we get our answers?
You for who's yeah, I think yeah, who's speaking to her? You'll definitely know in book 2 for sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I love that. Speaking of our girl Lyra, or am I saying that wrong, Becky?
Yeah, yeah, Lyra. My dad being her like Lara, like Lara Croft. From there, Lyra.
Let's talk about her. Okay, so you said that we're gonna figure out who's talking to her in book 2. So are we also going to get kind of like an expanded version of her powers in book 2? Because I feel like we're very much at surface level right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, all of you should have read the teaser, so we're seeing that there's like going to be dragons for her involved, especially. And I don't know if you would have read, but like dragons have their own threads. They need to bond with humans to be able to sort of like get their threads across. And so you get this power of a dragon with it. So Lyra's definitely going to be like doubling up on her power capacity. But that's also going to cause a lot of problems with her and also with Talon. So that'll be so fun.
Ooh, okay. I can you expand maybe without doing like too many spoilers, like about her threads? Because there's a lot of theories about which threads she has currently and what's to come. So is there anything you can share with us?
So she starts off with air and water, and they're like pretty good, but they're just, she has no sort of like actual control. So she learned that. Then at the end of the book, we see her being able to like pull on earth. And then there's this like narrative throughout the whole thing with like her mum's journal and stuff. So yeah, I think at the beginning of book 2, we'll get a real feel for like where that's going to go. Because I think some of you figured out as well, there's a journal entry missing. Like when she gets the last journal, it's going to, we're going to find like she's going to see that, and that's going to give her quite a lot of answers.
Mm.
Yeah, at the beginning of book 2.
Hopefully it doesn't shout. Need it now. Zero to down adapter. Becky, I'm gonna need you to work 18 hours.
No. Okay, so we all picked up on the fact that obviously those that have 4 threads might be able to access a 5th thread. Would you say that 5th thread is earned by the person that has it? Is it awakened, or is it something that might always have been there but was inaccessible to them?
Mm. I think with this one, yeah, if you could do all 4, the amalgamation of them would then sort of create something new and unique.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of new and unique, I'm very intrigued because Lucian and obviously Talon have these powers, these additional powers that aren't elemental, like Talon's sound control. What is that about? And is it tied to their dragon bonds? Could it be a part of this additional thread piece? How would you explain that?
So I try and like bring it back to in my head. It, a lot I try to bring it back to the elemental. So like Talon's sound is sort of an extension of his ability to manipulate air. Because
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
So I'm always trying to sort of think and ground things back in some kind of like theoretical fake physics. And so people can do things, but it should most of the time come back to some type of like thread or elemental power. So yeah.
But does everybody have access to this extra special elemental power? It is only a certain group of people.
I think like you'd have to have some extra power, so maybe some dragon stuff going on. Well, I knew, you know, yeah. I'm like, but I'm thinking like, wait, what am I giving away here? Or like, what?
I know we're really Chinese finger tapping you. I'm sorry. What if we? I think speaking of the dragons, we were intrigued on if the dragons and the threads are drawing from the same source of power. Are they overlapping systems? And if you can't answer too much here, that's totally fine. But very intrigued by this kind of additional element of the dragons and their power.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking about that, and especially like it was really nice to see the feedback that people wanted to know more about like the magical theory because I love that and I don't want to like overflow it. So my view of like the threads is kind of following kind of a very sort of like entropy system that we have in like the universe where the threads kind of go out and then they sort of like go back into the earth and the minerals and things around you. And so you're constantly kind of reconsuming them through like what you eat and what you do. And they're multiplying inside of you. And so humans kind of let them out if they are active, or if they're dormant, they just don't really do anything. They're not multiplying, but active ones are constantly multiplying. They're constantly like energized. And so you need to kind of let them out. And that happens through their magic. The dragons are constantly also got threads, you know, that are inside of them that are constantly multiplying. And they're getting that also from like the minerals and all the things around them, but they don't have any way to let that out. So they have to find
Mm.
this person to bond with.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so the compatible thread field, also speaking of all these thread theories, is was really cool. It had a certain level of like emotional intimacy that we felt like we hadn't seen in other romantasy books between Talon and Lyra. And a lot of people are wondering if it's like a mating bond or if the mating bond is going to exist or if a compatible thread theory is just what it is.
It's I don't wanna, like, ruin anyone's, like, expectations and things. It's so hard because 'cause I'm like yeah. So in my head, I hadn't gone into this thinking any type of, like, bonded, fated mates thing. So, yeah, but the shared thread field is really gonna cause some issues, especially in book 2, which will be super fun. Um, but I can say, obviously, with, like, Talon and Lyra, there is some stuff going on for the reason why there is, like, a connection, at least, like yeah, you know, there's it's not sort of like a see each other insta lust kinda thing, I guess, yeah, and
Mm.
yeah.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. I see that we have some questions that are coming through in the chat as well. So just for the folks here, we'll start to layer those in. This one's a quick one for you, Becky. How many books do you have planned for the series?
3. So I'm really, really hopeful that I, like, wanna keep it to that and just keep it all condensed. The books are all planned out. The ending is, like, written. Um, book 2 is pretty much, like, ready for me to go and, like, yeah, and start pushing through it. Book 3 is, like, more vague, like, I'm so excited about the opening chapter of book 3. It's gonna be so and then, I know the ending, and I just kinda gotta work out that journey, but yeah.
Okay. Any
There's a
novella?
lot of that might be yeah, there's a lot of shout out for novellas in the chat.
So I do have a novella planned for a character you haven't met yet. It's there just in case I'm like get a bit stuck or something. It could happen between book 2 and book 3, or it could just happen as additional one like tagged on at the end. Um but it would be a really fun character to like explore because of like anyway, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
I actually can't imagine.
Michelle probably knows because she's on it with all the clues, but like you have actually met this character in book 1. Um, but, like, not in person.
Wow, okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. We can work with
That actually I have a question based off of that because my mind is wandering now. So, is there a chance that we might meet some of Lyra's family in book 2 and maybe they're not where we thought they would be?
Yeah, everybody I didn't realize it would be like, "Is Lyra's dad alive?" I was just like, because I think I'll just leave it like, Lyra's dad is an Outlander, and obviously, like, reassignment is not set up to what we think. So, what Serene and people what they're doing with the people that are being reassigned isn't necessarily what we think was happening. We thought they were going and fighting dragons, but are they? And, obviously, Talon have been, like, secretly taking people. So, yeah, like we'll have to I think you'll get the answer to that early in book 2 as well.
Hmm. I think I have a related question, and I think a lot of the folks here are brilliant theorizers and pointed out that Talon might have bonded the way that he did to Cal because he's the last of his bloodline. So, can you give us any potential tidbits on if that potentially might tie into the kingdom of Aurelia?
So, I'll just leave it at, like so what Cal says, he says, "You're one of the last of your bloodline." So not the last, but one of the last.
Mm.
Why am I like manifesting future children for them just based?
Why do I need talent to have a twin that I would have access to also?
I was obsessed with Talon. Like he was a great I don't even know bad boy. Could you say bad boy? Like I also just like loved his emotional depth as well. I am very excited to see him more in book 2, but what made you want to end book 1 with him and open book 2 with them? Was there any, like, thought behind that?
I think just for the perspective, like the talent chapter at the end, just like reframing everything, you know, I felt like it had to happen. There were so many clues and Easter eggs in that chapter for like what's to come and also like who he is because we see him do some bad stuff at the end and you're left like, wait, is everything I knew about him wrong? Was he right? Like what's going on? So I think that last chapter, even though it's kind of like a, about a previous chapter before, you get a real feeling for like the situation that he's in and what's kind of going on. Um, and the same thing for the opening of book 2, seeing just it's a very there's actually gonna be 2 chapters, so it'll be like 1 chapter will be him, it'll be quite short, and it'll just be his perspective on, like we're literally continuing from the previous end scene. Um, so we just see him looking through that lens. And then, we have a chapter from Lyra, and then we actually just switch back to Talon for 1 chapter for a particular sort of narrative reason because we need to be able to hear what's going on in his head for something, and then we'll be back in Lyra. So a lot of them are just sort of like devices to be able to like get that part of the story across. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I think Talon is a favorite character for most of us here. So
When I see
so, but
good job, Becky.
speaking of other favorite characters, we need to talk about Rowan, R.I.P. Oh, I, I mean, I for those on camera, I literally just saw everyone like, how was that to write? I mean, that was a dagger to the heart. Like, I loved that man. What was your process of writing that? How did you get to the point where you were like, I have to take him out? And how did you decide on the way that you took him out?
It's interesting because like there's different ways that like I come to it. So Rowan, I feel really bad, but like that was Rowan's destiny all along.
Yeah, you knew.
As I was writing him, and if you're the type of person who loves Easter eggs and stuff, you can go back to like all of those conversations and you'll see like Rowan knowing and like it's in there. And so the letter, I was like, "Oh, that was, like, sad," and I was like, "That really kinda, like, was hurt." But but there's a character in book 2 that's gonna die, and that is cool. That's really gut-wrenching because I hadn't actually, like, planned or foreshadowed, so I wasn't emotionally prepared, and when I realized it was gonna happen and how it was gonna happen, like, that's really gutting me. So Rowan, like, really guts me, but it was like, I like Rowan, I knew it was gonna happen, like
Yeah.
next one, I was like, I didn't know it was gonna happen. I didn't know it was gonna happen like that. So now I'm like, oh,
Oh, okay. So, girls, we need to emotionally prepare now.
yeah.
Follow-up question: do we know the character that is going to die? Do we know this character well?
I'm just nodding.
Okay, this is not good. This is not good. So we had a lot of reader theory submissions and not a lot of time. So we came up with a little section where we're going to go through like a reader theories lightning round, and we're gonna let you get away, Becky, with saying yes, no, or decline to answer. But you can expand and give us bits if you're willing to. And I think that something that's popping up in the chat a lot right now is what's happening to our side characters. So can you confirm if Ezzy is alive?
Like my face. I think, wait, what am I allowed to say? Yes, no,
Yeah,
No
or
or decline.
decline.
oh my God. Decline because cause, cause I think everybody already knows the answer. I feel the consensus already knows.
Okay. Okay. I think us girls here can sense that Ezzy is probably still with us. I think. Yeah. Okay. Right. Next one is Marin actually good?
Ooh, what's the definition of good?
Oh, is he morally gray? Oh, okay. I thought I'd get away with that one. That's fair.
Okay, we need to know before the chat kills us. Is Finn okay?
Oh. Where is he? Who knows?
Everyone. Okay, fair. Is Lyra's dad actually dead, which we kind of touched on earlier?
Oh my god, this is killing me. Decline, but you'll know at the beginning of book 2, I promise.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. We'll take that.
Yeah. I have some ideas already. So, are we gonna get more of Lyra's mom's journals in book 2?
Yes, because there's one missing. There's like an entry missing, right, that she saw. So I will give that to you guys. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, is Serene siphoning power from dragons?
Yeah. So at the end of I'm elaborating a little bit.
Please.
You can go. You can.
We know that the people with black eyes and that the dragons also are having black eyes. So we know that somebody, Serene at the end, Lyra puts together, has been taking threads, and yeah, separating threads, I should say, I guess, and yeah, doing something with them.
Okay, are we going to find out about the green-scaled, violet-eyed dragon from Lyra's dreams?
Yes. And you already know.
Are they gonna be bonded? You said there's no bonds, but are Lyra and this dragon going to have a connection?
So there's no bond as in like fated mates, but there is definitely dragon bonding for sure. In
Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Michelle is throwing me off. Do we already know that it's her dragon, or Michelle is just like putting that into the universe?
Yeah, so I mean, she's had all those dreams, and then at the very end of the teaser for book 2, Lyra meets Arya, and she says, "Oh, like that's my dragon."
Mm.
Oh my god, I didn't read the teaser for book 2.
Which is like split.
Emily's been buried under snow. Okay, speaking of dragons, can anyone else shapeshift?
No, not shift shapes. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, is that what Talon is doing? Is he shape-shifting?
So in my head, they're two different entities, but like Kalixar took this some kind of oathy pact thing to save Talon, and now he's kind of stuck. But he can they can kind of move between each other's forms, but they exist as their own things. So when it's Cal, it's Cal. When it's Talon, it's Talon. So that's a very unique thing with Tal and Callan. So that's shape shifting. But yes.
This is not a yes no question, but I'm really intrigued here. Why is Cal getting stronger and harder to control? And what does that mean for Talon?
Trouble.
Oh, okay.
I'm convinced Michelle has read the second book. She knows the answers to every.
Michelle knows everything. Michelle guessed. Michelle messaged me. I had to like cut and paste some evidence, like chapter 5 or something. When I was first writing the book, she messages me on Instagram and says, "Talon is a dragon, and his talisman is really important." I was just like, "What? How did
Michelle.
you reading my mind?"
So is the talisman kind of like Talon's duck?
Yeah, I
Is it
think so.
keeping him in
Yeah,
check?
no, I think so. It's like helping him stay grounded, like yeah.
Oh, I love that. So if you could rewrite book 2 and give everybody a little token that is uniquely theirs, I would love that. There's a lot of duck merch calls. Yeah, we name merch and it needs to be ducks.
Okay, last question on the speed round. Is the spice going to get spicier between Talon and Lyra in book 2?
I I love like the slow burn, the tension. So we're gonna keep, but the the tension is gonna stay good. For book 2 and book 3, there are unique reasons for the tension. And I think some of the spice will get a little bit more like taboo, I guess. I don't know if that's the word to just keep that like, yeah.
Oh god, is there gonna be dragons human spicy seeds? Is that what you mean by taboo?
No, none of that. Just like the tension, and also just because at the beginning we're forming that relationship between Talon and Lyra, we want all of that. Like it's more safe, it's more consent. Whereas like we can play with a few more things in book 2 and 3 that just make it a little bit more spicy in terms of like the setting or like what's actually happening and stuff, or who's there and who's not there. Yeah.
People are really appreciating the yearning, so they're saying that a lot of romantasy books, it kinda dives straight in these days, so they're loving the yearning.
Yay. The yachting.
It was top tier yearning.
Yeah.
Like, when you get the payoff, it really pays off, so that was great, and that's exciting to hear. Okay, I think that was our big speed round questions, so I think we can potentially open up, if you're open to that, Becky, for quick questions from the crew here for joining. If anyone has a question where they what has it?
Jessica's got like a duck background picture. So
Oh, yeah. Jessica's been repping the duck since we got on, and it's
sorry.
amazing.
You guys.
We have Jessica repping the duck, and Michelle actually might have Rowan's powers, so we have a good crew here. But if anyone wants to come off mute or raise your hand, and ask Becky a question directly, please feel free.
Becky, who is your favorite side character that you wrote for this series? That we've seen so far, at least.
I have a soft spot for Bren because I feel like he wasn't on screen much at all, but in my head I know him quite well because he will come with us through the series, so we will see Bren again, and so I'm really excited about bringing him back on page.
Yeah, are you counting them as a love triangle?
No, I think I wrote Love Triangle at the beginning when I was sort of like thinking about the marketing because it kind of starts off because she is torn between it, but you can kind of, I think people can tell very clearly that Lyra's heart's not in it. Uh, and Brent's still around just to kind of like, wind up Talon, so that's good.
I think that we have some final questions for you, Becky.
Okay.
Okay. If you could point out one thing for readers to look out for or pay close attention to if they're rereading the book as we wait for book 2, what would that be?
If you want to go digging, you can go digging. There's probably quite a few things in there, but I think Michelle knows this already. Again, one character I'm
Michelle.
to introduce. I think you could look at Talon's drawings.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. He had some interesting drawings. We know about his drawings of Beth, but we're gonna put those
Like
to the side.
big ones. Like you can skip.
Yeah, we're gonna ignore those. Okay, I think we had some other ones in the chat as well.
Michelle wants to know if she can ask about Marin.
But Michelle knows too much. I feel like she's predicting sometimes. And then
Michelle, call me after this, please. I
We need a debrief. I think other folks are wondering as well on book 2 timing and no pressure, but I know you also mentioned that you might start releasing chapters in February, which is 2 weeks away, and that's blowing my mind. But if you have anything you want to share on that, that would be very welcomed for this crew.
I will be releasing it kind of in chapter chunks like I did with book 1 to people who want to read along, but I'll keep that closed. Timeline, yeah, again, it just all depends on my health at the moment. I'm optimistic. I'm in a bit of a crash right now. So like writing is like quite cognitively like draining.
Yeah.
So I do have the first 2 chapters drafted down, but I want to release the first 4 as what so you can kind of get a real feel for actually what's the book is being set up and what's going on. So I want to get another 2 chapters done and then kind of pop them out, and they'll be in kind of like I think I won't try and like they'll be in a good state, kind of like the same as last book, but
Yeah.
things may change and evolve. But yeah, I think if it continue like hopefully it would be November again, like the same as last year. Like the full arc would be out in November, and then the book would be out like in January. So that would be ideal. Um, we'll keep on-
Do we know what the title is for book 2?
yeah, it's called Oaths of Ruin.
Oh, yeah.
And
I did. Okay, I didn't read the teaser, but I did see that at the end.
All right.
Shannon says, "Thank you for giving us all a book we love and creating a space for us. So excited for everything to come." And I think that is a great final word, Shannon. We appreciate it.